Yo, what's going on, guys? So I'm gonna let the intro of the game play, and I'm gonna give you my review of Vampire Masquerade Swansong. So I was lucky enough to receive an advanced copy of the game. Just came in a great time for me. I took some time off of work, pretty burned out on Elden Ring, and there wasn't really any other games on my radar. Probably would have skipped this game. They didn't send me a code, so I got real lucky. Uh, they call it a narrative RPG, so it's got to focus on story, but you also can upgrade supernatural abilities that are going to help you explore the environment or help you get an edge in a dialogue. So you're going to get to play as three different vampires: Galeb, Lacia, and MM. All three have different personalities and perspectives on the events in the game. So, and you don't have to just pick just one. The game will automatically switch you throughout the story between the three characters. And the way it starts is all three get recalled to their vampire base by their leader, which they call Prince. Her name is Hazel Iverson. And if you don't know, a swan song is either a song of great sweetness said to be sung by a dying swan, or a farewell appearance or final act or pronouncement. So that's going to give you some foreshadowing to the story, which is going to happen over a few days, but it's really dense with the events. Alright, so the recall, what they call a code red, is called because of an attack on a vampire party by humans. So this means the Masquerade has been violated. The Masquerade being the term vampires use for the hiding of the existence of vampires from humans. So the beginning is going to act as an introduction to all three characters, the supporting characters, and then just the game lore in general. They're going to throw a lot at you in the beginning, but as you play, it starts to become more clear, and then you get to learn more about the characters. The game even has a tab for the lore and the character bios, which I recommend checking out. I could tell that they put a lot of work into it. So like one of the cool things about creating a vampire character is you get to be creative. You get to go back in time, give them an interesting, long checkered past with all their interactions through big historical events. And then I could just tell that they did some good research. So I would stop by and check those out. As you meet the characters, just stop and read a little bit at a time. Don't just do it all at once. And this is also going to help you later. You're going to have a better idea who these people are, and then how to deal with them in conversations. So Swansong, it really focuses on story through dialogue and exploration. So it's right up my alley. I really like these games that have attention to detail. So we got to approach each level slowly and carefully. You should read all the documents left out for you because you just don't know what clues they can provide for you. Some could give you a hint to a safe combo. Some can be the hidden motives of another vampire that you could use later. If not, they could still give you more context to the environment and the story and just world building in general. So there's going to be a good amount of safes, so you're going to have to figure out the codes or laptop passwords. Some are more obvious than others. Some might require you to figure out a puzzle first. For the most part, they weren't too hard, but I think I made them hard by overthinking a lot of them. So just remember, try to keep it simple. Some of them, they could have probably put more context or additional clues to get you in the ballpark. There is an elevator puzzle that was a nightmare during an MM sequence. I don't know if my brain just isn't wired that way or what, but it just took me forever. I'll upload a guide to that when I get a chance. Another element I really liked is that after you complete a level, it tells you what you did right, what you could have done differently, and what you missed. As someone who doesn't want to miss anything, I like to know right away, and then I can go back and fix it, and then move on. The game gives you an option to redo levels. You just have to go back to the main menu. But this also can be frustrating because there was times when I thought I covered everything, and then I saw that I missed something or I failed something, and I was like, at one point I just said I'm just going to keep going and then come back later. I was kind of hoping there was a new game plus where I was able to keep all the skill points that I got and then start from the beginning, but I didn't. Unless I missed it, I don't think you can do that. You're going to have to do each level with what you got. So there is a benefit of redoing levels because you know what to expect, so you have a better idea where to allocate your points. So that just shows you, again, the importance of attention to detail when you play. These levels, they were designed to be played multiple times, so you can't get too frustrated. And some levels, you do have to choose between one of two options, so you can't do everything in one run. Because you switch between 3 different characters, it keeps the action moving. Doesn't get too boring. I think they do a good job of mixing up the levels. So one level, you'll be focusing on a crime scene investigation, and then another on infiltrating the enemy base. One of my favorite levels was with Gallup. So when you're inside the enemy base, you can take out 3 of the leaders in a very Hitman-esque fashion. So using disguises, setting up the circumstances for their assassination. Then later on, you have we'll say an interesting interaction with a werewolf that was added. I think that was a nice touch, without spoiling too much. So a big part of the game is dialogue. A lot of the story is revealed through conversations with the other characters. You have to choose what skills to upgrade that will give you the advantage and unlock special dialogue, and then help you win confrontations. Confrontations are a big part of the game. You're only allowed a few misses, 1 or 2, and if you mess up, you can't just start over. You're going to just have to live with losing that confrontation and then the story ramifications. I would suggest, if it's not going your way, you could quit to the main menu and then hit continue from there, and then it'll usually take you to the beginning of the confrontation, so you can try to pick a different option, something that works better. So being able to replay a level is very helpful when you know what specific dialogue skill is going to be most useful. So as you might need more rhetoric, persuasion, or intimidation. It can be confusing at first, but as you play, it becomes more clear. It's not as complicated as you would think. Alright, so the game was put out by Big Bad Wolf Studio, which to my knowledge isn't a huge company, so they don't have the big bucks of a big studio. So the 3D models are not the best. They're a little stiff and unnatural. You get some crazy eyes here and there. But for the most part, I think especially with the main 3 characters, they look pretty good. I did have a little of a Matrix-like glitch for MM, but only for a short period. Usually if you just quit to the main menu and come back, it'll be gone. There is a really cool view of the city that looks nice that you can check out at the vampire base. And also the sound can vary. It could be real low and then go high randomly, like during the same conversation, and then sometimes it'll just go mute for brief periods. But again, you could just quit to the main menu and then continue, and then it's usually fixed. Alright, so overall I recommend the game, especially if you like a good story. To me, this could be a good Netflix show if they put it in episodes. The technical stuff I talked about, that doesn't really bother me, especially since the bigger companies with games like Fallout or Assassin's Creed will pretty much have the same problems. So that's a wrap on my review. Let me know if you agree or if there's anything I missed. I'm going to make a tips video next and link it to the end of this video, so look for it at the end. Thanks for watching. Bye.
It's the prince. We must go quickly.